Hi, my name is Ali Prasad. I'm 24 years old. I'm an illustrator and comic book artist based in Toronto. My first experience with racism was when I was a child. I grew up in Victoria, BC. My ethnic background is South Asian, and that community is very small in Victoria, BC. I had a best friend. She was Caucasian, and we'd go to her birthday parties, and everything was cool. But her dad was what I would consider a racist. I was her only what you could say is like colored friend. He never liked the idea of me coming over to her house, especially the times it was her birthday. There was this one year I remember coming to a birthday party, and my neighbor dropped me off, and he was Caucasian, and he thought that was my father. And when he thought that, he started treating me like with respect, and he started liking me, and then he started asking me, "Is this your dad?" And I said, "Oh no, this is actually my dad's best friend, our neighbor." And from that day on, and the years going on, he started treating me like crap again, to the point where I found our friendship broke because I was just not allowed to be in her presence. Only at school, we weren't allowed to hang out after that. My thoughts on racism? Yeah, it still exists. I don't think that from the 90s to like the late 2000s now that there's like, oh no, it doesn't exist anymore. It was this like thing that was like from the past, like a fantasy story or anything. I think my experience, like I said, I was born in Victoria, BC, and then I grew up there, and then I moved to Calgary, Alberta, which is a very conservative province, which also has a lot of racism there. And then coming to Toronto, I think the areas you live in Canada can change how much racism is there, or like how much is present in your life. Like I find that living in Toronto, I don't experience it as much as I did back in the other two provinces. But I mean, the thing is, it's still there. Like though I don't live there anymore, I know it's still happening. I think like I feel that it's gonna always be here. I don't know. Maybe in the future things will change and that it will be just a word. It'll be a myth. I don't think I will be alive to see that day happen. It's a issue we do need to talk about, and I think schools do talk about it, but I don't think it's done such in depth. Like I feel like when I was in high school, I remember we would have like multicultural day, and like you would represent your culture, and you'll have like a booth with like food and everything. And I think it's cool. It's like you're celebrating. It's like we're always talking about celebrating each other's cultures and races, but like are we ever talking about like the issues that like lie beneath it? Like what is actually going on? What is the reason why we do celebrate it? Like, is it there to show that, yes, I'm part of this group, and it's awesome? Or is it to cover the fact that, like, oh yeah, I'm part of this group, but let's just cover the sad things that do happen. So let's just make positive things, especially in school, because I feel like, education system, it's like, hey, let's hide everything under the rug. Everything is fine. But everything is not fine. Like I said, racism happens everywhere, no matter what province you're in, no matter what area you're in, to the point where I've experienced racism in my own race. Being Indian, being South Asian, people aware of like arranged marriages and such, we are racist in our own race. We have a caste system. There's issues where you can't even marry another person of your race. Like you might be from the same country and the culture is the same and all that, but like you're kind of like from like a subculture. It's affecting people like my lives, where you ruin like my friendship with my friend back in the day, or like even to the point like our family moving. Like one of the reasons too why we moved from Victoria was another reason for racism. Like my dad lost his job because again he was like the only colored person on the team. I don't think it's ever gonna go away. And you can tell like with today's politics. I mean, we saw the elections. It's not, and I really wish it could. So I guess all we can do, I mean, yeah, you can have multicultural days in school and stuff, but like I think the fact is that people need to bring more awareness, and especially like people in our generation, because I think your parents teach you and their parents teach you, and we know from past generations where racism or segregation was like a big thing, and segregation not as much now, but like it needs to be taught through our education system, through meeting with friends, through social media especially. I mean, that's what people are like using these days now too. Like for me, I said I was a comic book artist, right? I'm trying to make main characters that are not just Caucasian, that are, of different ethnic backgrounds, of different bodies, different ages, whatever it may be, so that everybody in the world can like relate to. I mean, I have friends who are Caucasian who are scared to make a character that's like African American or like of an Asian descent because they're not of that race. It's like, what do you mean? Like, you are human. The story is of a human experience. That's like saying I can't make a character of someone who is Caucasian because I'm not white. Like, that's what? Like, we still go to the same school. Everybody brushes their teeth. Everybody eats the same food. Like, you're the same person. Like, I don't get it why people have to have this thing called racism, where in the end, if you think about it, we're all part of the human race.